Can you tell me, um, can you tell me how you're rolling out your prayer hotline? How does that look? Tell me about the equipment. Tell me about your people. And I'm just going to capture this. Maybe this could be helpful for somebody.
Okay.
Tell me how you're doing it.
Yeah. So basically, the idea is not to go online with it because we don't want to be, we want it to stay within the community.
Right.
So we have a nice big sign at the highway. Now we're right on the highway. All traffic goes, so we're going to post it on the sign, and the sign will basically say, if you want prayer, you can call our prayer hotline at such and such a number, and we will leave your number, and we'll return your call. What the phone number is the church office number.
Okay.
They'll leave a message, and I will daily check that. And then I will say, message so and so, here's two people or one person to contact. It's a female. And so that's how we're going to work that. So that's the concept. In terms of the logistics, I have a key prayer leader who I first called the board, and then one board member, and then I called the prayer leader, and they were green light. So then I said to the prayer leader, can you put together a training session? So a write out something like, from very first, like how to say hi, right down to concluding with possibly getting a phone number,
Okay.
plus gospel information, as well as scripture references. Maybe they're fearful or whatever it is. So she said, no problem. She worked on that for 2 days, forwarded it to me for final approval. I sent it back to her. Today she's emailing. I actually also called 14 people that aren't working, that don't have children, or are working and have the times. And then now Sheila, the director, is emailing them, training them. They're calling back, working that out on the phone. And then when we're ready, most likely Saturday, we will put the sign up and then expect calls.
Right. And I guess one of the good pieces about doing rather than a live line, but doing a voicemail is that you automatically get the phone number, the contact information for the person who's calling to request, so that if you want to follow up with more prayer later or check in on them in a month's time, you still have a name and a number, and you can send a quick phone call or send a quick text.
But when it came down to it, that personal voice on the other line, that was the final connection. Because if people drive in, we have ways that we're prepared to give them information. They'll reply by calling or email or text or whatever, Facebook. For example, at the drive-ins we're planning, if we share the gospel and someone wants to receive Christ, they'll follow that up through the information we give them. But as well, that's a little clunkier. So with this prayer line, that just is the final piece of making that full connection, and hopefully eventually being able to hold movies for the community and things like that. I really feel, even though we can't physically gather, we're able to connect. So
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Great.
yeah.
And I think it creates such favor in the community when there's a place for somebody to call. Just people are anxious, and just to have another voice of somebody who cares, so important. Thanks for
Yeah.
that.